Welcome to yet another talk on our Inspiring Conversation series with myself, Bindhu. I am a leadership coach, facilitator, and marketeer. The objective of the Inspiring Conversation series is to strengthen our minds with information which not only helps us deal with the challenges of the pandemic right now, but to collectively strengthen our minds and our bodies to enable us to strengthen the minds of the people around us. And one of the things that we keep hearing about today is immunity. What to do, how to do, what foods to take. But how much do we really know about immunity and our body? Let's find out, shall we? So today in our Inspiring Conversations, we have Dr. Manjari. Hi, Dr. Manjari.
Hi, Bindhu.
Dr. Manjari is a classical homeopath who is practicing in Dubai. She's been practicing for the past 17 years, out of which 13 years have been in Dubai. She's currently practicing at the Emirates European Medical Center. Now, Dr. Manjari is a homeopath who has a holistic approach to lifestyle and nutrition and overall well-being. So one who goes to her will not only get medicines, but also a completely different approach, a new approach to life totally. She's very active on her Insta, where she shares tips to create awareness about daily living and simplifying immunity. Welcome. And I'm one person who has transformed just listening to you, Dr. Manjari. So thank you very much for that. Let me say that up front.
Thank you, Bindhu, for your glowing introduction. I am honored and humbled to be here with you.
Thank you. There's one thing that I spoke in your introduction, and you talked about simplifying immunity. Now, that's become like a buzzword in today's times, and everybody talks about, oh, take this to boost immunity, eat that to boost immunity. You know, it's all about that. You listen to it, people talk about it, people are asking what to do. What are your thoughts? And when you talk about simplifying immunity, it sounds beautiful. So I would like to know a little more.
So, immunity is nothing but how you feel from within. It is a sense of well being that you carry. So, if you're waking up in the morning with aches and pains, if you're waking up in the morning not feeling hungry, if you're waking up in the morning not looking forward to your day, and you may not be sick, you may not be having a physical disease. But if that is the case, then to me, it is a sign that your immunity is not functioning okay. When you have mental, emotional, physical, and even let me take the liberty of saying spiritual, when you experience well-being on all these levels, then it means you seem to be having really decent and good immunity. Immunity is not just about fighting illnesses. It is not just about not falling sick. It is about how you recover. It is about how your body becomes after you have had a bout of sickness. It is about how you approach life in the current situation that we are having, a lockdown like this, which is rather unusual, very unprecedented. A majority of the people are feeling anxious about it. Now, anxiety is not coming from just the lockdown itself. They probably always had it in the background, and now it has come to the fore. Why? Because physically there are challenges that are happening, and those express themselves in different forms. So you cannot view immunity as a singular component, as a singular entity saying, oh, I'm not fallen sick, I haven't caught a cold, I haven't had a fever. That does not mean that you are healthy. Health is the definition of health is actually absence. It's not merely an absence of disease or infirmity, but an overall physical, mental, and emotional and social well-being as well.
Wow. So that's like, it's a completely different approach, isn't it? So mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual.
And social.
And social. So this is obviously, it sounds to me that it can't be built overnight, built in a day. It sounds to me like a journey. And that's something that needs to be constantly done, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is a journey. It begins from the time you are in your mom's womb. And what did she do in her pregnancy? How did she take care of herself? What did she eat? How was she doing emotionally? One of the questions I ask for young children is I need their moms to be present, or if they're dads, if the dads know all the history, is how were you during your pregnancy? How was your health during your pregnancy? If I see a small child that is sick, then I have to go backwards and ask those questions, those relevant questions, because those matter. How was her physical health? How was her mental health? Mental health has to do with how you use your intellect. And a lot of people overuse their intellect. You know, they are sometimes intellectually, they have really strong muscles. As a result, they are compromised on their emotional muscle. And then what happens is that they seem to logically analyze and evaluate and shred everything. And that makes them anxious, that makes them upset, that makes them flustered, that makes them exasperated. And that contributes to how the baby would feel in the womb, because the mother has now effectively produced more adrenaline, more cortisol, which are stress hormones.
Right.
Yeah. So it goes back from then, and then it moves forward from the time you're a baby. So when you're a baby, how was your health? As you know, we all have our milestones, and we have the way we grow. How did that progress? And what are the things that happen? What were the events that could have changed the physical or the mental state? There are children who lose one of their parents, or there are children who face a very big illness in their childhood, or there are children who have other kind of problems. And all of if they're a pair of twins, and if something happens to one twin, so there are lots of things, that challenges that come, which determine how the outcome of health will be.
Got it.
So the journey starts very early on. So as a result, you see that women in the 30s, 40s, 50s gave birth to multiple children.
Yeah.
I have my mother-in-law who's the ninth child of her parents, and she's extraordinarily healthy. That means her mom must have been very, very healthy, and her dad also must have been very, very healthy. So they contributed their good health to their offspring.
Got it.
Her oldest brother is, even right now, he can sit on the floor in 1 minute, and not even 1 minute, he sits in a flash and gets up in a flash. So that only comes, that is seen when the health has been good right from the beginning. Your foundation has been strong. This is like a building foundation, or the roots of a plant. Why do we call it roots? Because it goes down, it looks for water where it can get deeper and deeper, and then the tree stands upright for years, centuries together. It depends on the roots. So the roots are in the mother's womb, and when that happens is when you will see the outcome of it. So it's a constant process, yes, but the roots are laid then.
Got it. So you're talking about a lot of things that are, it starts very, 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 very early, like when you're just a cell. Bringing us fast forward to today, like right now. See, I didn't have control over a lot of things, what happened at that time. What can I do today, here and now, to start building my immunity?
This is the thing, the building is constant.
Right.
All you have to do is start tweaking things that don't serve you.
Okay.
Let's say you have regular headaches. The minute you have a regular headache, if you take a medicine for it to numb the pain, you're not serving your immunity. If you have a back pain and you take a pain medication to suppress the pain, you're not helping your immunity. So start looking at things that are bothering you, and they are your indicators of what is happening in your immune system. So immune system through a particular organ, through a particular system. So you have a problem with, I wouldn't say head, but I personally have reached a conclusion that all headaches are actually, well, not all, I would say 90% headaches are gastric origin. So to something to do with your stomach. Yeah. There are only 10% of classical headaches due to pathological factors like brain tumors and things like that, and infections like meningitis. But essentially, the headaches that we all get day in and day out have a gastric origin. So gastric origin headaches should be treated at the root cause, not at the level of expression. Okay. Yeah. So once we start identifying what is our problem, That once that is treated, then categorically you will start experiencing better immunity. Or if there's a lot of, in places like ours, like Dubai, where sand is where we have regular sandstorms, or cold places where in the spring there's a lot of pollen, they have allergy problem.
Yeah.
Now sand has existed for millions of years, and pollen has existed as well for millions of years. If you are reacting to that, it means that there is something in you that is hypersensitive, which is your immune system. So I have to work to treat that, or you have to work to get that sorted. Then only you can go to the next level of immune system, which is where you may not fall sick, where you will have a sense of well-being. So now you notice that you may not be waking up with the headaches that you did at some point. And even if it comes, it is very short lasting, intensity is very low, and you're able to get over it faster. And the next day is okay, there's no hangover of a headache. So you have to look at symptoms like these, and instead of treating the symptom, treat the cause. That is your step one for building immunity.
Okay. So it's about just observing. What I'm getting is observe what your body is telling you. And it could look like a headache, it could look like a cold, it could look like any of these kind of things. And what's underlying is something that needs to be treated. It's not about just treating the cold or the cough or the headache.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What are the, so we've seen these symptoms. It's cold, cough, headache. Anything else that we just kind of put in the side? And these three are things that immediately comes to my mind, because I used to also think like, oh my God, I just need to treat it. What are the other symptoms that we could look at?
So basically, when it comes to understanding the immune system, your immune system is influenced by external factors, which is, light, heat, sun, or the lack of it, cold in cold countries, and the food that you eat, and the environment that you live in. These factors, the external factors, are important. The internal factors have got to do with how your body is functioning. Whether, again, the same things, whether you've had any health issues, whether you've had any diseases in the childhood which probably are unresolved still, and you continue to take medications for it, or the food you eat. And a lot of the times people are eating food that is not suitable to them, but that is suitable to something they've read somewhere or heard somewhere, and they're trying it out on themselves. So if you're looking at the external and the internal together, you will get a clue of what a lot of people come and tell me, that when I moved here, this is what started happening. Or when they move to the other countries, like a cold country or a warmer country, and they say, ever since I've come here, this is what is happening. It never happened before. So you have to recognize that something in their body is not functioning as okay as it should have been. And why does that happen? That typically happens if there are changes in the gut health, which is it's an important determinant of your immunity. Gut health is nothing but how your digestive system is functioning, and liver health. So these two factors seem to play the biggest role in immune function, in how your health will respond. So we need to look at that aspect to be able to tweak immunity, so to speak.
Okay, got it. And how does homeopathy help in building immunity? It's a big question. I'm going to kind of ask you to just give us that glimpse.
Yeah. So homeopathy actually, so going by the definition of health established by the WHO, it actually takes into consideration all those factors. So when, let's say, a child is brought to me, or an adult comes over for a session, we go back in time. We tend to go back in time. We try to establish when and at what point did something happen, what event actually triggered the change, which may have caused the patient to develop that particular problem presenting that day. And then we look at how the emotional state is. So the key thing I think about homeopathy, or specifically classical homeopathy, is we give great deal of importance to how you're doing emotionally. Two people could have migraines. Mm-hmm. And those two people could be dramatically opposite to each other. One could be very laid back and not interested in life, and couch potato, watching TV, and develops headaches. And the other one could be an alpha person, a type A person who's up and about on the computer, working until the night, and probably eating off the table, grabbing food and eating off the table. And you can see that the two people have two different personalities. So classical homeopathy typically, it kind of takes care of the personality developing the disease, not the disease itself. So if I have to treat a person who has a headache, that is what I do in classical homeopathy. I will treat the person in the disease, not the disease in the person.
Okay.
Did you understand? This is the gist of it.
Yes, that's beautifully put. And very beautifully and very simply put, because for anybody out there, it's like a headache means just take a painkiller and then get rid of it. But you're saying the headache could be a symptom in two different people, but the personality, you look at the personality and then treat it. So you're really, really going down to the root cause, which is completely different from how we see headache is a headache with every single person, isn't it?
Yeah. So who develops what kind of disease? That is what I evaluate. So if I see someone with a headache, I have a mental perception. Could he be sleeping late in the night? Could he be overly worried? Could he be very stressed? Could he be belonging to the anxious category? Could he be having an old health problem which he hasn't resolved until now? You see, people who travel a lot tend to take medications because they have to sustain themselves. So I have a mental sort of picture. And then when the patient comes out and says, I've been traveling a lot and I work until late into the night, I'm working with different time zones, then then you know who you're talking to. Then I know that what is causing that disease. Not just causing, but you can't be saying that the pain is okay and just numb it. You have to say, look, these are the factors. Now, can I change their jobs? I can't. Can I change their personalities? No, I can't. Can I change their ambitiousness? I cannot. I cannot change anything about them. However, what I do or what I think I address is how the body responds to stress. That we tweak. So your body responds in a much more healthier way so that you can cope with these things without it giving you a symptom.
Got it. Got it. Oh, that's beautiful. That's lovely. You've just explained it in a beautiful way. So today, now you've talked so much about mental health and emotional health, and the period that we're going through is so unique, so different, and none of us have ever experienced it as as a human race. Now, there are obviously a lot of anxiety, frustration, anger, the feeling of feeling helpless, not in control. All of this comes out in people. What do you recommend that people do when faced with these issues, just in dealing with day-to-day stuff?
First of all, having great acceptance is the most important. Can we change this that is happening? No, we cannot. Is it in our control? No, it's not. It's very difficult to gain acceptance. And the minute you do that, you take away half your anxiety. The second thing that you have to do is bring in some discipline. So we tend to live our lives on autopilot. We wake up and get ready, go to work, probably grab a coffee or a sandwich, and we are at work. And then there is we have no clue of when the day ends. And even if it ends, it doesn't end very ceremoniously. We have to still rush to do things and feel the guilt of not being with the children or, things like that. So if we bring discipline in our lives, that goes a long way in helping us achieve a certain sense of balance. Why do I say that discipline is important? Because our bodies function in discipline. They work in harmony. Every organ, 150 trillion cells, 100 trillion cells, not a single fight between them. They don't fight. And when they do, you have a symptom. So if you bring a sense of discipline and you have a level of acceptance, that itself is half the battle won. The other half, you might take medication, either homeopathy or something that you think is okay for you, and a nutritious diet that will take care of it lots.
Got it.
And of course, plenty of sunshine, fresh air, Not that you have to go out, but ensure that these are the freebies that we have for living on earth, freebies for building our immune system. And if we don't take, if we don't grab these freebies, then you have to pay through your pocket to regain health.
True. I really liked how you made it very simple. So it was accept the situation, self-discipline, nutritious food, and just get a lot of sunlight, or and I would add one thing, physical exercise, right? What are your thoughts on that?
Physical exercise is a very important component of well-being, because as human beings we are meant to be physically moving. You see, hunter gatherers moved from one place to the other. They did not sit in one place saying, I love this place, I'm going to sit here, because they had to hunt for food. So when they did that, they used their body, and the body is meant to move. It is the mind that is supposed to be still. But today, if you see, it has changed, it has reversed. It's our bodies that are still and our minds that are overactive. So if you have to keep your mind a little bit still, then you have to move your body. And therefore, physical exercise plays a very important role. So devote about not more than, the least amount of time that you can devote is about 20 to 30 minutes, if not every day, at least every other day, and walk if you can. So walking actually presses your lymphatics in your legs, and that allows the blood flow to improve to your heart. And improved blood flow is a blessing for the organs and a boost for the immunity. As simple as that. I told you I'm simplifying immunity.
And you have done it pretty well. You've just simplified immunity. You've kind of expanded it in terms of having more sides to it than just the pop this and get immunity kind of approach. So it's holistic. So you've simplified it, you've made it holistic and very, very actionable. Thank you so much, Dr. Manjari.
You're most welcome. Thank you very much. I completely enjoyed it. You see, this is what I talk every day to everybody. So
that's great. And I'm sure lots of people have lots of questions. Where can they find you?
So you can find me in Dubai. If you are living in Dubai, then you can find me at Emirates European Medical Center. That's the lovely place that I work. I call it my second home. And on social media, you can find me on Instagram. My handle is @realhomeopathy.
Excellent. Super. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bindhu. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
You too. So that was Dr. Manjari simplifying what is usually seemingly complex. She's just simplified immunity for us today. Until we meet next time, stay safe and stay inspired.